Tuesday night hoops action coming right your way from East Tennessee. We got a non-conference bout. 17th ranked Tennessee Volunteers hosting one of the hotter teams in the A-10 to start the season, the George Mason Patriots in town. We welcome you to the Food City Center courtside. Steve Hamer joining me. I'm Andy Brock. We'll be with Sarah Detweiler in a little bit later. 3 weeks, home sweet home for Tennessee. They're finally back in Knoxville. Steve, what have they been up to? Well, they've been facing off against some of the toughest competition in the nation, Maui Invitational, than last Wednesday in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, just ho-hum schedule, right? You played number 1, you played number 2 out in Honolulu, and then you get to wrap that up by going to Chapel Hill and facing 17 against North Carolina. Tennessee desperately needs to get back home and get back in their winning ways.
Yeah, looking to get back in the win column tonight. Their last 3 games, all against top 20 opponents. Now currently sitting within the top 10. One of the hardest stretches any team's had to go through across the nation. You're going to get every team's best. These are some of the best teams in the nation, though.
Yeah, but when you start off, you're ranked in the top 10, you're going to get everybody's best effort, right? We talk about the win blows strongest at the top. So no one's going to feel sorry for you that you lost to number 1, you lost to number 2, and you lost to number 17. Well, guess what? These Patriots, they've come here to play tonight. They're a tough-nosed group of kids that are coached very well, and look for them to get out early.
That's right, for George Mason, new coach. They've got 10 newcomers, a brand new team, but they're off to the best record in the A-10 to start the season, 7-1, almost out of nowhere. Tonight a chance for them to go up against one of the top teams in the nation.
Yeah, make no mistake. You know, people oftentimes look at a George Mason who, you know, as a bit of an underdog, right? You know, they play in the A-10. They're not SEC. They're not Big 10. They're not Big 12. But make no mistake, man, these guys can play. They got transfers from the likes of Syracuse, UNLV, Gonzaga, Virginia Tech. So they are going to come out here and not be intimidated by this Rocky Top environment.
Back-to-back road test for George Mason in the last 4 days. Tennessee finally back at home. First time since November 15th. Underway from the Food City Center in Knoxville. Good sign for Volunteer fans. Dalton Connect in the starting lineup. Down with an ankle injury late and lost Wednesday in Chapel Hill in North Carolina. There's Vescovi, pump fake. He's got an open 3. It's off the rim, no good. Oh, crosses the baseline, George Mason way.
Yeah, if you're a Tennessee fan, all too often when Santiago Vescovi takes that slide step, he's going to knock it down more times than not. But that's what we're seeing this early in the season. He's got to get back on track.
Court pressure is started from Tennessee. This is the starting 5 that Tony Skinn brings into Knoxville with. Again, 10 newcomers on this Patriot group. Most of them from the transfer portal, a couple of freshmen. This is a build-from-scratch team. What a lot of teams do with the transfer portal these days.
Yeah, that's the advent of the transfer portal. I mean, you can build a team from scratch, the team that you want.
Keeping it alive as Keyshawn Hall gets to the rim right as the shot clock goes off.
Now, I think took one in the chops as well with that head and shoulders fake. Got Josiah Jordan-James up in the air.
Our crew here this evening wants to take another look, potentially to see when that shot clock did go off. It's Keyshawn Hall, the sophomore guard, transfer from UNLV, has been fantastic. 15.1 points per game, leads the squad.
Yeah, you know, Keyshawn's also 6th in the nation in defensive rebounds here. You look at him driving baseline here. Didn't see the that was some friendly fire action there. Looked like he headbutted his teammate there.
So they were looking to make sure there wasn't potential flagrant on the play, but the righteous friendly fire. Basket's going to count. That's 2 points to start things for Keyshawn Hall.
George Mason going to set up in that 2-2-1 press. Sometimes they push up on it. Sometimes it's a pseudo, which they drop back.
Starting 5 for Rick Barnes and his group back at home. Dalton Connect, good to go. Considered day-to-day after that ankle injury. He suffered against North Carolina what was a career-high 37-point night for him. So Kai Ziegler making his second start of the season tonight. Josiah Jordan-James from the paint. First 2 for the ball.
That's what he does so well, right? They move the ball around. You get the ball into a fix-it-all hands of Josiah Jordan-James. Gets to his spot where he wants to get it, elevates and knocks it down.
James coming off a season-high 20 points in Chapel Hill. Tennessee offense in the loss. Shot the ball well, 56% from the floor. That's an offensive foul going back Tennessee's way.
Yeah, offensive foul. That's on Polite. You know, sometimes when you get frustrated with someone of diminutive stature like Zakai Ziegler, man, you just shove them off. But going back to that replay, nobody shoots that ball mid-range better on this Tennessee basketball team than Triple J.
Connect, feeding Jonas Aidoo, can't get the soft touch off the mark.
Well, you know, Coach Barnes talked about it in the pregame today. They're going to make a concerted effort to get that ball in the interior. And if you're Jonas Aidoo, man, you got to finish that.
George Mason the other way. Amari Kelly coming off a fantastic 24-point performance. Kicks it out. Keyshawn Hall, money from long range.
Keyshawn Hall, man, shooting with confidence. Nice cross-court pass. Saw the double team coming. Was able to finish with the three.
The big man guard has been huge his first year with the Patriots, averaging nearly double-double, already 5. Vescovi connects, searching for an answer. He's got it.
You know, sometimes it's rhythm, right? You just catch it, you got to catch it clean to get it off. That's how special of a player Dalton Knecht is. He didn't catch it clean, still took his time, great follow-through, knocked it down.
37 points at the Dean Dome, most by a non-conference player. Over in North Carolina, it's been a while since any team had traveled, any player had traveled there and put up those kind of numbers.
And I think he was on his way to a 50-piece. I mean, there was still adequate time left. Certainly went out, 37 points, had a chance to go to the line, finish with 2.
Soft touch that time, Jonas Aidoo. First lead of the evening for Tennessee in the early going. Here's Polite the third. He's off the mark. Senior veteran on this Patriots bunch. Vescovi quickly through the lane. Nice dish to the corner. There's James. Offensive board, Aidoo. James backing down his man. He connects.
Yeah, we just talked about that. You know, when you have beside Jordan James who has that frame, he's got some size to it. He can absorb the contact. He gets to that sweet spot 8 to 10, man. You can just about book it.
Maddox, he's their long-range guy, and is on it that time, 1 for 1.
Yeah, you look at his shot, right? Some might think that it's a little bit broken. You could put it together in a different way, but man, if it works, stick with it, young man.
41% three-point shooter. Connect the other way. He's got one from long range. Sure he has the easy layup.
This is the up-and-down action that both teams want. George Mason, man, they're going to come after you. The Patriots, again, are well coached. They're not going to be intimidated. And they come out right now. You know, they put up 8 points already at 11-8. This is that type of scoring that both teams are going to come accustomed to.
Tony Skinn, head coach of the Patriots, expected this to be a game of toughness. We have seen back and forth battles so far. Another finish the other way, Amari Kelly. Back and forth we go here in these opening 5 minutes. Offense at a premium. Vescovi inside Aidoo gets away.
That's not a good pass by Sanjay Vescovi.
Maddox tries another. Off the mark, he's 1 for 2.
He's feeling it.
Quick release of Maddox has worked for him. 13.1 points per game for the senior. Transfer out of Virginia Tech. Hard drive from Connect. Maddox now the other way.
I like the try by Connect. I really like that. You know, you're going to push up on me. I'm just going to dribble drive around you. Didn't finish, but I really love that emphasis.
Finally, a break in the action. So many storylines in this one. We'll go back to head coach Rick Barnes' roots on the other side.
Welcome back into the Food City Center, where Tennessee leads George Mason 11-10. Well, in order to understand Tennessee head coach Rick Barnes' coaching tree, you got to go back to his roots at George Mason. It's 1980, and Coach Barnes is the part-time assistant at Davidson College when he gets the call from George Mason to join their staff of their program. Well, Coach Barnes doesn't know much about the program, so what does he do? He pulls out the college blue book and looks up George Mason in the directory. There, he finds that the men's basketball program just went up to Division I, and the university is one of the fastest growing in the country. So he said, of course, I'll be the first full-time assistant coach they ever hired. And when he joined the program, head coach Joe Harrington said, "You're going to learn more in your time here than you will anywhere else, because we're going to have to build the program from the ground floor up." Coach Barnes said he was right. He then bounced around to a couple other assistant coaching positions before returning to Fairfax, Virginia to begin his head coaching career. And tonight, guys, is the first time he is coaching against the Patriots and says it will always be such a special place to him.
Has to be a fair amount of emotion. Certainly a lot of respect for that green and gold team on the other side. Rick Barnes feeling coming into tonight.
Yeah, he's you talked about the fact that that was his first coaching gig, and actually has some friends, some people that he worked with from George Mason here at this game tonight. Just so many fond memories.
That first head coaching job, certainly never going to forget that, especially just where you get your start, where you learn a lot of the craft from. Had to do that with head coach Joe Harrington when he was an assistant there. Left for a bit, came back for that first year as a head coach, did a fantastic job as well, won 20 games in that lone season at George Mason, and then obviously history from there, and the incredible career that Rick Barnes has put together since then that has led him now to Knoxville for 9 years.
Yeah, and it's led to opportunities for guys like Tony Skinn, right? You go to the Final Four back in 2006, and then this moved up over but, Tony Skinn, man, look for great things to happen for this George Mason program. They've had the likes of Kim English, who comes from that tree of Coach Barnes. So just a great program with tremendous people and coaches.
Both coaches, obviously, with a lot of George Mason in their roots. Respect for one another, certainly, coming into this matchup. There's Tobe Awaka back in the lineup tonight. Missed some time. That's a smooth finish.
Yeah, he has been sorely missed, by the Cincy basketball program, because he adds that toughness, he adds that tenacity, and once he gets his mitts around that basketball, man, not too many guys can rip it away. So they really missed him, especially going up against the likes of Armando Bacot in North Carolina.
You think about those 3 losses that Tennessee's had in their last 3 games, all impressive All-American caliber big men, Hunter Dickinson, Zach Edey, Armando Bacot. You have a rim protector like Tobe Awaka, that can make a difference in a game.
It really does, and it just gives you a little difference in terms of physicality from a Jonas Aidoo. The lack of the lack of size that he gives up, and he gives you that in physicality.
Time Awaka a bit too strong on the offensive end. Patriots will set things up on their side. Lead the paint. Maddox working on Nation defense. The Volunteers. 3 from the left corner. That's off to Mark. Hall's got his own board. Right back up strong. No good again.
Great job by Hall just following his shot there. And, if you're Tobe Awaka, man, you got to box out.
Offensive rebound, second chance points. Big point of emphasis for North Carolina in that win over Tennessee last Wednesday. Josiah Jordan-James, hard drive, and learn too.
Yeah, Josiah Jordan-James, man, he's been around for a while. He's a veteran, knows how to use his body, absorb the contact, and get to the free throw line.
He's got 4 points. He'll have 2 shots on the other side. Volunteers by 3 here in Knoxville. Their first game back at home in 3 weeks. George Mason, just their second game on the road. Tony Skinn, of course, as mentioned in his first year, really guiding this Patriots team in a strong way to start. Not easy when you bring in 10 newcomers. You're a first-year head coach, first time you've ever been a head coach, trying to get these guys to buy in. But he's doing a good job at his alma mater as well, so he's more passionate to get this program where he wants them to be.
Yeah, he's got the cachet, right? He's got the cachet because he's played there. He's a 1,000-point scorer. He's a Final Four, player there, participant. So he's got that built-in cachet. But, man, when you talk about losing the number of people that they lost to the transfer portal and then having to reacclimate a bunch of guys assimilate, all that good stuff, any other A word that you can look for, man, they have done a wonderful job of building chemistry thus far, only losing one game. I think he's going to do a tremendous job because it's his alma mater. He cares significantly about this program, and these players have bought in already.
Kim English, former assistant of Rick Barnes. This Tennessee program was head coach at George Mason. He left and took the job at Providence as Ed Cooley moved his way to Georgetown. That opened up the spot for Tony Skinn to get his first opportunity. And again, you step in, a lot of players gone from a team last season that did well and won 20 games, but you only return about 3 guys. One guy that only played 20-plus minutes from that team. You have to start from scratch. He said, you get there, you start with your staff first. You bring in guys that can help you get guys around them to then build that team. He's got a great group. It's really complimentary of his assistants, all 3 of them. Brought in his former teammate from 2006, Lamar Butler, director of player development, so he's got a good cast around him as well.
Yeah, couldn't say enough good things about that staff that he's put together. And you look at these guys, man, because they have that type of staff, that coaching prowess, man, these guys tonight, I've said it once, I've said it again, they're not intimidated in this environment, as you can see, and that's indicative of the score.
Gaining on the other end for Tennessee off the mark. Hall taken up at half court for George Mason. You see teams nowadays go through the transfer portal, but oftentimes it takes a few games. It takes even a few months to get in a good sync, but it's been so rare what Tony Skinn's been able to do with this group, and he says these players, they bought in from day one.
They have bought in from day one. Nice slash about the side of James with that left hand there. When you got guys that buy in, the results show sometimes later on in the season, but right now you can see it, man. 7-1, got a tough schedule coming up. I look for great things from this basketball team.
This is certainly a huge test for them on the road. It's a top 25 team, certainly their toughest matchup of the year so far, but so much to prove. Again, Tennessee also a lot to prove. They want to get back in the win column. They've lost 3 straight. They want to get back to playing Tennessee basketball. George Mason, they've got a lot to prove on the national scale tonight.
Yeah, they got a lot to prove, but, I think that Tennessee, conversely, look at what they have to get done in a game like tonight, right? Sure, you've got this game tonight, but you're always looking forward to the next game. And the next game is the Fighting Illini from Illinois. They're going to come down here top 20. They got a big ball game tonight themselves. But you want to build that momentum by beating the likes of George Mason.
Get past a gauntlet of the stretch. You've got more toughness waiting on the other side. Tennessee, as I mentioned, hosting Illinois, a really good Fighting Illini team on Saturday.
Out of the frying pan into the fire, right? You play tonight, George Mason, highly skilled, defensively tough-minded basketball team. And then you play Illinois Saturday, and then you go to San Antonio, you play NC State, who is a very, very good basketball team.
Hall off the screen. Dangerous crossover, but Jemai Mashack all over him, forces the jump ball.
That's what Jemai does. He is such a defensive stalwart that he gets in your jersey, man. You just feel like, man, this guy's in my jersey right here. Get over the screen. You get knocked down. You get bumped off the screen. Well, you don't quit. You stay with it. Reach in with 2 hands. You get that jump ball. Possession still with the Patriots, but just a great effort by Jemai Mashack.
Can imagine Coach Barnes harping, as he always does, but especially this week in practice, defense tonight has to be something he's stressing more than ever. After allowing 100 points last Wednesday against North Carolina. Freddie Ilione back in the mix of things for Tennessee. Missed some time with an injury. That's a nice layup on the other end.
Yeah, good to see Freddie Ilione back in action, man. He's put the time in terms of his rehab. He's done everything necessary. He's gotten back in shape. Good to see him come off the bench and finish with that offhand.
Volunteers had dealt with a trio of injuries, all 3 active tonight. Darius Maddox, hard take to the hoop, head to the line for 2.
Nice take by Darius Maddox, going baseline, absorbing the contact, going strong to the basket. Because of that, he's going to get to the charity stripe for 2.
foul is on Jordan Gainey. That is his second. Vesky will come in to relieve him.
Andy, looking at this George Mason team, you know, they were picked to finish 10th, I believe, in their conference. 10th. You know, I'd like to see the people that picked them to finish behind 9 other squads in that A10, man. This is a talented basketball team.
Again, even talking with Coach Skin, he says, you know, not that I know we're capable of a start like this, but even I am, you know, pleasantly not surprised maybe isn't the best word, but I'm happy we're 7-1, you know. You don't know what to expect when you go through the portal, but it's a team that no one really could have predicted having the start that they had. Underdogs on the road against on Saturday against Toledo. You come out there with a win, they're starting to prove a lot more people wrong here early in the season.
Well, they shoot it well. They shoot nearly 40% from the three-point line as a team. They defend at an exceedingly high level.
DeLeon from the corner, no good. Maddox, the board. Patriots within 3.
That's where I think Freddie DeLeon can really get better at his game, right? You know, driving to the basket with your left hand, finishing high, that's one thing, but I don't think that he's ready to step up and knock down those, those type of three-point jumpers just yet.
Fumble from Woody Newton. Ball's loose. Jemai Mashak's everywhere on the defensive end. Jump ball number 2.
This game had a lot of flow early, right? You know, first TV timeout had a lot of flow. Now it's really, teams are digging in. You know, they're playing exceedingly harder on the defensive end. It's going to be one of those type of battle of physicality from both teams tonight.
Mashak looking inside. Jonas Adu. It's the big man one more time. Mashak now is going to take the 3. Oh, good interior defense from George Mason. That has been the cornerstone of this Patriots team for the first 8 games, defense.
Yeah. Looking at George Mason, man, they're 1 out of their last 9 from the floor, and Tennessee's not much better, not knocking down perimeter threes.
Light stuck in the paint, has to kick it back out. Maddox, extremely shifty. Let's go atop the key 3, a bit off balance. Ball loose. Driving after it's Newton. Great play, Tennessee ball.
Great effort by Newton. Not giving up on the fact that, you know, Dalton Connect had that basketball. Great effort, which leads to another opportunity for Tennessee to go down the floor and score here coming after the break.
Offensive battle early in Knoxville has started to settle into a bit of a defensive slugfest as Tony Skinn talks with his Patriot crew. They're battling here in Knoxville. Let's welcome back in Sarah Detweiler.
Well, Andy, you guys mentioned that Tony Skinn is in his first season head coach here at George Mason, and being able to come back to his alma mater just means everything to him. He said it's nothing he could have ever expected when he enrolled at George Mason 2 decades ago, that he would now be the head coach of this program. He said, naturally, I'm an overthinker, always looking ahead to the next game or the next practice, but when he can stop and plant his feet in the moment and look around, he said it's such a dream come true. He also said, I know it sounds cliche, but there's not a better place I'd rather be right now than at George Mason.
It feels like the perfect fit, Steve, as we've already mentioned. And people forget about that 2006 George Mason run. I don't forget about it, but you have Loyola Chicago of recent. You see teams make those runs. VCU. George Mason was almost that catalyst that has sparked some of these 11 seeds getting to the Final Four.
Yeah, they were really that first team with that slipper, right? The Cinderella slipper. That was that first special team that you looked at, and all across the country you could feel everyone rooting for George Mason. And you know, I gotta be honest, man, with Tony Skinn as a head coach, they may indeed get there at some point again in the future, because they're not gonna finish 10th in their conference this year. Too talented, too well coached.
3 from Zakai Ziegler, left wing, he's got it. Volunteers up their advantage. 6.
Yeah, really needed that, man. They've been on a 2-minute and 5-second scoring drought, and man, as you had just intimated a few minutes ago, it become a slugfest.
Over from Zakai Ziegler. Jump ball is the call again. Tennessee have really ironed in their defense as we've settled into this one.
Yeah, you know, Zakai Ziegler, he does it on one end, right? You know, with this pass, this assist from Josiah Jordan-James knocks it down with rhythm, and then you look on the other end, man, which is where he can really hang his hat. He's just a defensive stalwart that if you put that ground on the floor, there's a good chance he may get taken away by number 5.
James rips it away on the inside. Tennessee has kept George Mason without scoring the last 2.5 minutes. A three from Adu connects from the corner, the big man.
That's what he's been missing. And he can stretch the floor. He can do that. And Coach Barnes really needs him to not only take more of those shots, but knock more of those shots down, because it opens up the paint for driving angles for the rest of this Tennessee squad.
6-0 run from Tennessee. That's ended as Trey Wood knocks it down, the graduate guard from Long Island University. It'll be a Tennessee turnover. Patriots will get it the other way.
Crowd has really taken exception to that last call from the officials. Looking at the replay, they may be correct there.
George Mason. Every bit of a bounce you can get here in the road environment. Again, just their second road game. They passed their first test Saturday. It's Toledo. 4 days time since then. Not much rest and recovery. Still on the road here in Knoxville. Billups. Zakai Ziegler again, all over.
He's just a pest, man. He's just all over the place. He leaves his man to go and help, to go and double, and comes right back.
Oje's got it from the right wing. George Mason puts it back within 4.
Yeah, George Mason needed that. The league was kind of getting away from him just a little bit. Got back-to-back buckets to get him back to within 4.
Freshman Okoje bringing solid minutes off the bench. That's his first 3. Ziegler response. That's 2. Zakai Ziegler in this one.
That's what the Tennessee faithful, man, they've become accustomed to in years past. Zakai Ziegler, you go underneath that on-ball screen, he's going to pull up and pop and knock it down.
Back-to-back threes, both ends. Thanks, one with Connect. 3 from the right corner, no good. Ziegler's got the board. And he wants another one, top of the key. Around the rim, no good.
I don't mind that. I don't mind the heat check. He stepped into it with rhythm. I know that he didn't pass it, didn't ball reverse the ball to the other side of the floor. But sometimes, man, when you're a shooter that's a streaky shooter like Zakai, you don't mind that.
Ziegler tied a season-high 9 points Wednesday against North Carolina. Foul, Dalton Connect commits under the basket.
That's good offense from George Mason. One of the ways you can settle yourself down is, by getting to the free throw line. But sometimes you don't need to get to the free throw line where you can shoot 3 like that. But anything you can do, I can do better. Zakai Ziegler. Good to see him shooting that ball the way he's doing it right now.
Coach Barnes says Zakai getting to that point where he should be following that injury end of last season, that ACL. In an impressive time, was able to work himself back onto the floor and into this lineup. Played 27 minutes last Wednesday, and right now is at a spot better than he has been up until this point.
He's been reinserted into that starting lineup. They had used Tamon Mainshak to start this season, and now they've gone back to Zakai Ziegler because he's starting to get some of those intangibles back, the quickness, the speed, the cutting ability.
Adu wide open under the basket. Too easy.
Great look right there. Coming off the screen, getting wide open there, but a great look by Josiah Jordan-James.
Adu's got 7, 3 of 4 from the floor. 3 rebounds as well. Tennessee's big center. Now Josiah Jordan-James gets a hand on it. He'll take it himself the other way. Patience. As Tennessee now sets it up. Looking for Adu. Can't get it to him. Again, big point of emphasis. Coach Barnes get to the big men inside. And James draws contact. 2 shots at the line.
Man, he's just that calming influence on this basketball team. I know he's got that maturity, but when you talk about the things that he does on both ends of the floor, with the steal, settle it down, ball will come back to you. Then all of a sudden, man, you get to the free throw line to knock down 2 free throws.
Closing minutes of half number 1 in Knoxville. 17th ranked Volunteers searching to get back in the win column. They lead by 8. One of the points of emphasis for Coach Barnes after the loss at Chapel Hill last Wednesday was toughness. He wanted to see his team be a bit tougher tonight. Steve, have you seen that so far?
I think I've seen that, right? There's some good signs, right? You know, again, when you are a defensive stalwart like Tennessee is, you know, you got to have that if you're going to play for Coach Barnes. Got to be able to guard your yard and play tough-minded defense. But they scored 92 points, right? The problem is they gave up 100 to North Carolina. And I think that, you know, talking to North Carolina's coach and hearing comments, that's probably the best basketball that they've played in some 12 to 15 years. But, you know, Coach Barnes seems to still think, for good reason, that this right here, this iteration of Tennessee basketball plays good, tough-nosed defense, and they can still score at a high rate.
Okay, this is a Tennessee team that has now garnered a reputation for being one of the best defensive teams in the nation. They were last season, according to KenPom, finished first defensive efficiency. 22 different times they held an opponent last season under 60 points, and then he gave up 61 in the first 20 to North Carolina. So it's unlike a typical Tennessee team. Again, that also falls in line with, you play Tennessee, you see them on the schedule, you're going to give them your best because you know it's going to be physical.
Yeah, it's going to be physical, and that's one of those marquee wins, right? You're going to win over someone like Tennessee that's picked to finish in the SEC. That is going to pay dividends come March time.
Finish from Darius Maddox. The Patriots back on the board and within 7. James, great game so far on both ends of the court. Adu, catch and shoot, free throw line, no good.
Adu really needs to finish those. You know, he's getting better and better, but he's got to finish those 7 to 10-foot floaters there.
First half from Maddox, he's got team high 9. Finds Hall on the right side, front rim. Ziegler the other way. What a dish to Gainey. Smooth finish.
Yeah, Coach Barnes, they run transition like this every single day in practice, making sure that just maybe a dribble or 2 after receiving the defensive rebound, looking up and passing ahead for an easy basket.
Excellent vision. Sweet dime for Zakai Ziegler. Season high 7 of them. And that Wednesday loss last week to North Carolina. In the paint, Amari Kelly straight up with Jonas Adu and won that battle.
Yeah, I don't mind that move by Kelly at all, man. Took his time, got to the sweet spot, used his left hand, finished.
UNC Wilmington transfer has been fantastic, put up a 24-point career high. Jonas Adu has his say on the other end.
Jonas Adu, man, I'm telling you, he's got such a good touch. And that, again, you look at that soft 7 to 10-foot jumper there. One of the toughest shots in college basketball or basketball period to shoot that from that baseline angle. He's got all those skills to be able to do that, though, consistently.
Okogie driving in on Vescovi. Hard fall for the veteran guard. He's tacked on the foul. Hard stop from Okogie.
Great fortune for Tennessee that Santiago is walking away from that, man. That's a tough spill right there.
It's the second foul on Vescovi. Be 2 free throws for Bronco Okogie, the freshman guard. 7 points per game in his first 8 contests, his first season. One of 3 freshmen on the squad for Tony Skinn. Connect. Check back in for Vescovi with 2 fouls. It's been one of the keys for George Mason in this 7-1 start. They've got a lot of depth, whether that's freshmen or several transfers that are vying for big minutes on this team.
And that's important. because every member of that basketball team knows that they're going to be held accountable because they need to come in and really give some valuable minutes on both ends of the floor.
Ziegler, top of the key, finds Connect, lets it rip, no good. Mason pushing the other way, 90 seconds to go in the first 20. Koje. In on Ziegler, good defense from the Volunteers, they win it back, turnover. James quickly the other way, swooping in is Newton with the swat. Foul on the Patriots.
I love the get back though by Newton, man. He didn't give up on it. Josiah Jordan-James had a full head of steam, went in strong with the right hand to finish. Tremendous block, tremendous get back, chase down block by Newton there. Great effort.
Foul following the block will send Connect to the line. Can't get the first one to go. Connect 5 early points in this one. 2 for 5 from the floor. During the first half, again coming off a career high 37 points against North Carolina last week.
If there's a potential bugaboo in this Tennessee basketball team, it's the free throw. It's the charity stripe. They're now 2 of 6, not shooting it very well early thus far in the season, especially from the veterans like Josiah Jordan-James and Dalton Connect.
A minus 54 free throw margin between teams that Tennessee has faced in their last 3. Under a minute here in half number 1. Amari Kelly going up strong, can't get the friendly roll. Gainey. James open. Yes, knocked down.
You like Gainey right there because Gainey took the ball off the floor and drove the paint, made the defense collapse, turn around, and fed it back out to the trailing Josiah Jordan-James.
James has 10 first half points, leading Volunteers here early. Tennessee by 11 now. 11-second difference, shot clock in game. Polite driving in. No good, can't get the bounce. Adu on the rebound. Shot clock now off for Tennessee.
Another great effort by Tennessee there to make sure that George Mason was one and done, secured the defensive rebound, and now they'll have a chance to work with the last 10 seconds of this first half.
Chance for Coach Barnes to draw something up, guarantee they at least have a double-digit lead going into the locker room. Josiah Jordan-James, fantastic first half, 4 of 7 from the field, 10 points for him.
Yeah, he can do it all. He's got great mid-range. He's got great long range. Again, we talked about the fact that he's logged more minutes than anyone on the team thus far in this early season. He has the second most amount of rebounds. He's averaging, double digits. I think he's just playing at an all-time high right now. But make no mistake, this is the first offseason that he's been healthy for the entirety of the offseason, and that's really parlaying itself to the way he's playing on the floor.
Yeah, this is his 5th year, and it feels like it's a full culmination of those prior years. You get that healthy offseason, playing some of his best basketball of his career. He also has 5 assists tonight, so it's not just scoring. He's been able to find his teammates, and then we've seen him on the defensive end, 2 steals. Has been really good inside as well. That's the thing, is you can place him almost anywhere in this line. If you want to go small, play him in the paint. He's physical enough.
Yeah, and he can defend the 5 on the other end of the floor. So, he's just a tremendous basketball player.
5 seconds, Ziegler. Clock winding down. Gainey in the paint with the layup. And Tennessee heads to the locker room, their biggest lead of the night, 13.
That was that finger roll from the left-handed. That was absolutely incredible. Great move, great last 10 seconds to get a deuce.
Sarah is with Coach Barnes.
Coach Barnes, a 13-point lead at the half. What improvements are you going to see in the second?
Well, I thought we took a couple threes way too early, and I didn't like that. And again, they were doing a good job. They're a good basketball team. We still got to work the game inside out. They're a heavy gap team. We held them to 26 points, and they're an outstanding offensive team. 3 for 10. That's under what they normally shoot from the 3. We just, one, shouldn't turn it over, but I would like to see us do a better job getting on the offensive board.
And Jonas Aindu, impactful in this first half. What are you liking out of him?
I still want him to be more impactful by the rim. And but, yeah, he's going to have to work for the space. He didn't fight hard enough for where we need him to be, but give them credit for that.
Thanks, Coach.
6-0 run for Coach Barnes and his group to close that first half, their biggest lead of the night by 13 as the Volunteers looking to get back in the win column. Home sweet home for them back in Knoxville.
Right now. We're going to go ahead and play.
Coach Skin, you said tonight was going to be a game of toughness for you guys. How do you think they've handled that challenge in the first half?
They tried to take us away from our offense. They're denying all our good handoff passes. But at the end of the day, we've gotten a chance to score at the rim. We're 6 of 15 inside the 2. So while I think we're a little tougher than us, we just got to be able to handle it and some of the easy ones that we've been able to.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Absolutely.
Coach Skin and his group down 13 after one half of play in Knoxville. As we get settled in for another 20 minutes, that was Sarah Detweiler, Andy Brock, Steve Hamer, happy to join you for 20 more. Steve, it's been an all-around good performance from Tennessee, trying to get back in the win column, but it started at that defensive end.
Well, how do you fix the defensive problems, right? You give up 61 points in the first half at 17 in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Man, you start right here by digging in and playing solid defense. Get your hands in passing lanes, deflections, reaching in with 2 hands, getting steals, getting blocks. This is what Tennessee basketball does, man. It's like an anaconda. They just slowly choke the life out of you on the defensive end and make it extremely tough.
Absolutely well put, Steve Hamer. As Tennessee for 7 turnovers, 16 steals in that first half of action. Offensively, though, they've been great as well. Dalton Knacht kicks us off here second half with a pair underneath the hoop.
Yeah, great set. Again, Coach Barnes is one of the best coming out of a timeout, coming out of a break, and just really coming up with a great set to get someone wide open.
Keyshawn Hall, good for the first 3 for George Mason here in the second half. No good. Kai Ziegler will handle things to start the second half. Aindu, top of the key, he's got a second 3.
Second 3. That, again, makes it so tough for a defense, because sometimes as a big you want to lay off and dare him to shoot the 3, but if he shoots that 3 and knocks it down consistently, man, it opens up all sorts of passing lanes and angles for the rest of his team.
Jonas Aindu dealt with a bit of foul trouble in his last 3 games, limited him from seeing that full potential when he was going head-to-head with some of the best big men in the country. Rick Barnes thinks he's among that group. We're seeing a lot of that tonight. Yeah,
you're seeing him really evolve as a basketball player, well-rounded. Used to, when he came in, he was a defensive guy, blocked some shots, and you were lucky if you got a few baskets out of him here and there. But he's a guy that you can count on when you need a basket night in and night out.
See the vision that time. That's his 3rd assist of the game as well. He finds a streaking Dalton Knacht for another 2 in the second half for him. That's a turnover from George Mason. Great start for Tennessee out of the gates.
Yeah, you look again at Jonas Aindu. Okay, you're going to lay off. I'm going to rise up and I'm going to knock it down because I can shoot the ball with confidence from anywhere on this floor.
Aindu just 0 for 5 from 3 coming in tonight. This is the second time now in his career he's ever made 2 3-pointers in a game. He has that ability. We've seen that throughout his tenure at Tennessee. Here's Knacht rising up, was challenged. That battle was won from Amari Kelly. What a swat.
Man, sometimes you just got to rise up, and that's what Knacht did. But sometimes people rise up even higher with that block that led to a 3 on the other end.
Great sequence for the Patriots. They needed it.
They needed that. They needed something to kill that momentum that Tennessee has built.
8 points now for Keyshawn Hall, their leading scorer. Aindu inside. Gets Amari Kelly that time around.
Such a great touch. Such a great touch, man. He's put in a lot of hard work in that offseason, getting stronger, getting in better shape, utilizing the right hand and the left hand, man. He's a well-rounded basketball player right now for Tennessee.
Wide off the screen, he loses it. James is there to collect. Another turnover for George Mason. That number continues to climb. It's number 9 for him. Aindu off the lob, got it, and the foul. The big man on fire.
Man, he is on fire. I believe at NBA Jam, they would say he's on fire. He's in fuego, right? I mean, gosh, what is he not doing? He's stepping outside, knocking down shots. He's doing the mid-range thing with his left hand, and he's finishing through contact.
I think he knows it as well. A little flare at the end of that and one. Team high, game high, 16 points. 7 of 9 from the floor. Coach Barnes said going into the locker room, he thought Edu could do more. I'd say he's come out the second 20. Not his best of the 2 minutes we've seen from him.
Well, he's so quiet in nature. You know what I mean? He's not one of those vocal leaders. He's just going to do his job and do it to the very best of his ability.
Timeout for George Mason. It's a career-high evening for Jonas Aidoo. He's got 17. Tennessee cruising. Starting to feel like the Jonas Aidoo game here at Knoxville. He's got a career-high 17. He's been rebounding, defending, passing the ball, knocking down the long-range shot, too.
Andy, some might call him somewhat of a renaissance man, right? He's knowledgeable, educated, and proficient in all ways of the game of basketball right now because he's doing it at a very, very high level. Mid-range, the twos through the contact, finishing right now. I'm going to tell you, I think he has got to be a point of emphasis moving forward for Tennessee basketball. If they can get him to consistently score 10 to 15 to 20 some nights, look out. This is, again, they're already a dangerous team, but when they get production from Jonas Aidoo, the likes of what they have right now, look out.
Yeah, Coach Barnes has been speaking very highly on Jonas Aidoo as we welcome back in Sarah Detweiler.
Exactly, Andy. Coach Barnes said Jonas Aidoo is a great basketball player, and he hasn't even scratched the surface to what he can be. He knows how to pass, knows how to shoot, and he's quicker than what most people might think. He also said as long as he continues to believe in himself and the expectations we have for him, I think the sky's the limit for him.
Absolutely. The thing with Jonas Aidoo, Steve, he always knew that potential was there. He's always been a key contributor off the bench. Now he's at a point where he can be that vocal big man. Can't hit that time around, but he's a guy you're going to want to try to get to just about every possession.
Yeah, it's the belief, right? You know, Sarah hit the nail on the head. It's the belief. It's that knowing that, man, I can get this done. I can be relied upon when we need a tough 2 or even a 3. I can get that done too.
Talk about how big it is to face these high-quality teams that Tennessee has early in the season. How big was it for Jonas Aidoo to see some of the best big men in the country?
I'd be willing to say those are 3 of the best that basketball has to offer in terms of college basketball. Hunter Dickinson, he's just a load. He can shoot the 3. He can block shots. He can do everything. And you got Zach Edey, man, who will probably be the player of the year nationally. And then you follow that up with Baycott from North Carolina.
Not to say things will get any easier. Always tough night in and night out when you're living in the paint, but you're not going to see many like Tennessee has seen post 3 and how Aidoo getting it on the fun defensively. That's a swat. No, thank you.
Yeah, not on my watch, man. Not on my watch. Welcome to the block party.
Everything type of night for Jonas Aidoo as Tennessee leads by 19. Rick Barnes huddling up with his group. They lead by 19 against former program that he coached back in the 80s. First time he has seen George Mason. This is just the second meeting between these two teams all time. First one, very eventful. Tony Skinn was involved. Let's welcome back in Sarah Detweiler for more on that.
Oh yeah, totally eventful, Andy, but it was all the way back in 2004 in the opening round of the NIT with a 55-58 victory for the Patriots. And when asked about it, Coach Skinn said, oh yeah, that was a big-time game. And in particular, he remembers one play, driving baseline for a reverse layup, and says that was the defining play that set us up to close out the game with a win. He said the mid-major teams don't get that chance to host a Tennessee basketball team on their home floor. So to get out of that one with a win, it spoke volumes to who we were, what we were brewing in Fairfax, and how tremendous the program was.
Yeah, it's a game that sets the tempo for the things that they were able to do 2 seasons later. You go to the Final Four 2006. That starts with big wins prior. It doesn't just happen out of thin air, but they got that win over Tennessee in the NIT Invitational at home in 2004. Tony Skinn, co-game high 16 points. That first layup that Sarah mentioned, real game changer in that one. It's been a while since these two teams have seen one another.
Yeah, I think if Coach Barnes had his druthers, he'd rather play George Mason a lot more. But I know contracts come up and all this other ancillary things. But these are two programs that need to get together more often.
So many ties between Tennessee and George Mason at this point. Could be see more and more frequent. Maddox trying to answer Vescovi's three. Tennessee's in.
Yeah, that's not a good shot. You need some ball reversal. You need to run some offense. You're in jeopardy of letting this thing get away from you pretty quickly here. You're very fortunate that Tennessee turned the ball over there, but the lead is 22. You need to run some offense.
First points of the game for Santiago Vescovi.
Really good to see him knock it down. He's been scuffling from the three-point line a little bit, but one thing never changes with Santiago, and that is the fact that he plays solid, tough-nosed defense. You got to keep him in the starting lineup. He is an all-SEC guy. You know that the offense is going to come at some point.
Yeah, Santiago fantastic against Kansas, had 21 points, hit 5 three-pointers, but no points. Just 14 minutes on the road against North Carolina. Coach Barnes a bit frustrated with that performance, with a bit of inconsistency in that one. The team scored 92 points. Vescovi did not have any. It seems to be an oddity for any Tennessee team with Santiago Vescovi in it.
Yeah, it's definitely something that Tennessee can expect moving forward. You would think you score all of those points over at North Carolina, and Santi, was held at the minimum. So that's going to change.
Again, not a common preseason for Vescovi. Missed those exhibition games. Thrown right back to the lineup, so still trying to get into that consistent flow. Rick Barnes was not pleased with the turnover last trip down from Tennessee. Jordan James fighting smoothness in that jumper.
Yeah, just very efficient. Just a couple of ball dribbles, that reverse pivot, turn, face with that left hand strong, man. He is so good at that.
Adu up top now, guarding Okoje. Dish down to Maddox. Ishak gets a paw in there.
You talk about all of the things that Josiah Jordan James does well, and that perhaps is one of the best, man. Just rise it up, get into the sweet spot, turn around, and really releasing the ball at its highest point, right? Youngsters out there, man, sometimes don't want to extend that and hold that follow through. But man, Tennessee is taught from day one to get that shot up as far as it can be released.
Finish from Trey Wood. It ends a bit of a scoring drought there for George Mason. Deficit now 22 points. Tennessee has come out of the gates flying during the second half. Vescovi off the dribble drive, dumps it off. Tobe Awaka got it and one.
So, again, you look at Santiago, it starts with Santi. It starts with a strong dribble drive with his left hand to get down the paint, not necessarily looking to finish of his own volition, but he's passing it to set up a teammate for an and one opportunity.
Not only is this a good chance for Tennessee just to get back in a rhythm at home, they've been away for 3 weeks. They never played that long away from home since 2011. It's been a long time since they've had to go on a stretch like that. And the teams they played, not only though is tonight a chance just to get comfortable here, but it's a chance to get back in the win column, and they get some of those key guys who were injured back, like Tobe Awaka, just to get back in a mix.
Yes, not only Tobe Awaka, you get him back, but you get Freddie DeLeon back. You avoided a disastrous injury by Dalton Knecht, so get some guys healthy, and you're going to have a really good season.
Tennessee making the turn into December, looking for not necessarily a reset, but just a bit of a step forward after losing 3 in a row.
Well, and conference play is on the horizon, right? If you look out on the horizon, you see the likes of Kentucky and Arkansas and Ole Miss and Florida and all of those people that are vying for an SEC championship right there in your way. So you've played some really good competition. You've got a great RPI. Sure, you haven't won the games that you wanted to win, but you played exceedingly well, and you still got so much ahead of you to play for.
DeLeon on the drive, looking for Awaka. Turns the ball over. Patriots looking to cut into this Tennessee lead. Maddox, good dish to Kelly. Mashack swats it away.
Welcome to the block party.
Here comes Connect. Takes some contact. Pulls up with one hand, no good. But Awaka, that's what you miss with him. Strong board. Mashack off the mark.
Almost wanted Tobe Awaka to go back up with that, right? You did the dirty work. You kept it high. Go back up with that. Use that soft jump hook that you've got.
I feel like that's the next level for Tobe Awaka. So much physical ability inside, but you want to see that offense progress.
Yeah, you want to see it progress, and he is right now on the precipice of doing something special. Had a tremendous summer, had 2 overseas trips in which he averaged a double-double. So, you know, you just hope that maturation process continues at an accelerated rate. And Tennessee, man, they can count on him in future.
Woody Newton knocks down the triple. Back to 22. Tennessee will slow things down over their last 4 from the floor. Connect. Can't buy one. Awaka again on the offensive board. Mashack can't get on the drive. Coach Barnes yelling at his guys here. Shot clock's at 8. DeLeon, good move. Goes up strong. Swatted, but a foul before. Will send DeLeon to the line.
When you look at the fact here, Tennessee, again, they hang their hat on defense. Right now, you can hang your hat on Jamon Mashack meeting you at the rim.
What better way to get back in the win column than rely on the steady hand of Josiah Jordan James. We've already touched on it, Steve, but he has been effective both ends of the floor tonight.
Yeah, he's just a handyman, man. You know, you need something done. Scoring-wise, okay, I can do that for you. I've got 14 points. You need some steals? Yeah, I've got 3 steals. You need some assists? I've got 6 assists. You need a journeyman, a guy that's going to play you the most minutes? Yeah, I can do that too because I lead the team in 23 minutes and 55 seconds thus far. Man, 6 of 9 from the floor, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. You know, Tennessee really needed him to come back at an elite level, and he's done that thus far this season.
You mentioned that 1 3-pointer, but he's been making a lot of his living in the paint. Tennessee as a team, 30 points in the paint compared to George Mason's 14. This is a really good interior defense team. 5th nationally is George Mason in paint defense. Tennessee's handled it pretty well tonight.
Tennessee's handled it very well because you look at that defensive intensity that George Mason puts forth. They cause a lot of turnovers. Well, Tennessee has 7 turnovers for the night. When you juxtapose that with the fact that they've got 21 assists, you look at George Mason. George Mason's turned the ball over 10 times and only has 5 assists. So, man, Tennessee is really playing so very well on both ends of the floor.
And you saw those rebound numbers as well. Tennessee out-rebounding George Mason 32-19 in those 3 losses. Volunteers out-rebounded again against 3 very quality top 10 teams, but nice for Tennessee to be on that other side of the rebounding battle, limiting offensive boards, second chance points. Obviously, key component to every Rick Barnes team is rebounding the basketball.
That's key. And again, if you're going to play for Coach Barnes, you're going to do a couple of things. You're going to do it at a high level. You're going to play defense, and you're going to have to rebound. No second chance points given up under his watch. I don't care if you're a 6-year guy or a freshman. He's going to coach you just as hard because he's going to get the max out of you.
Kelly, backdoor cut, finding his man on the finish is Austin Ball. freshman. Tough layup.
Yeah, Austin Ball set Santiago Vescovi up by coming up as if he was going to play a little two-man action and went back door. Great pass, great finish.
Tennessee has not hit a shot from the floor in nearly 3 minutes. Develop a bit more of a rhythm offensively. Vescovi going to be the one to do it. Yep, gets it to roll around. That's his second three-pointer.
He needs those to go in, man. He's the type of shooter. He's a volume shooter. And you know, when volume shooters, when they get going, you better look out.
Coach Barnes wasn't happy with Vescovi just because he knows the type of caliber player he is. And he has to be that consistency for Tennessee night in and night out as Darius Maddox connects with another one.
Darius Maddox, good-looking player, man. Shot that with confidence, shot it in rhythm.
Maddox has 15 to lead the Patriots. He's averaged nearly 17 points team's last 3. Another good night for him. James backing in Maddox. Has strength in the paint, and he earns 2 again. As James done a good job of getting to the line as well.
Yeah, you know, you look at Santiago Vescovi, great screen there by Tobe Awaka, springing him open. It's a great-looking jump shot. And then on the other end, look, I'm going to rise up. If your hands are down, I'm going to shoot over top.
15 three-pointers combined, these two teams. First free throw off the mark.
He's really struggled from the line tonight. Really struggled.
That one to go makes him 2 for 6. Tennessee from the free throw line tonight, 6 of 12, 50%. Let's lobbing it inside. Amari Kelly stuck between the baseline and Tobe Awaka. He stepped on the line.
Stepped on the line, and probably, had he not stepped on the line, it's probably going to be called for an offensive foul on the hook.
It was a tough space to be in between Awaka and the baseline. And then he wins in that scenario. Ziegler trying to feed Awaka other end, and they're going to get Kelly with the foul.
We talked about this, but, you know, it was a point of emphasis for Coach Barnes to really get that ball on the interior, get his big guys some work, making sure that you keep the ball high to them when you're throwing it to the interior, or if there's a situation like that, using a bounce pass. So they're making that effort to really give their big guys a lot of work.
Inbounds Vescovi, searching for a third three of the game, off the mark that time.
Good screen-to-screener action by Tennessee.
That's a turnover. Zakai Ziegler made it difficult for Trey Wood to find any breathing room. Turnovers keep climbing for George Mason. That's number 12.
I think if, you know, you look at someone like Zakai Ziegler, right? He's not the tallest guy in the world, but what he lacks in size, man, he makes up for it in heart, man. He just goes after it every single night, every single possession.
Waka, one-on-one, he's up on Kelly, yes. What a finish.
Good move, man. Good spin move, get it back to your strong hand. Baseline, soft touch there. Great move, great offense.
7 points tonight for Awaka, 3 for 4 from the floor. This could be looking back inside again for Awaka. That was the point. Coach Barnes, let's feed the big men inside. We've seen Jonas Aidoo, Tobe Awaka feast. Awaka able to buy the bucket. He's got 7. Tennessee leading 24. Coach Barnes still coaching hard as we're hitting the back half of this second half. Tennessee by 24. Good defense, good offense following what's been 3 straight losses. This Volunteer team looking to get back in the win column. I mentioned George Mason on the other side. They were looking to prove themselves against one of the top teams in the nation, but that's what happens sometimes when you go up against one of the top teams in the nation. They're going to play like it.
Yeah, and to some casual viewers out there, you know, you start to question well, why? You're up 24 with less than 8 minutes left. Why would you not go to the bench and give some of the young pups more playing time? But what you really need to pay attention to is that this is still a pretty new team, right? You're trying to infuse the likes of Dalton Connect and Aganey and JP Estrella. You're trying to infuse them and come up with the best 5 at all times on the floor. So that's the reason why you see the starter still on the floor with the addition of Tobe Awaka.
Again, first few minutes for Tobe Awaka since that Maui tournament. And his minutes were in question. How many would he go? He's been in for about 8 up to this point. And they have been really good 8 minutes, 9 points for him now.
Really productive 8 minutes, having his fingerprints all over, grabbing rebounds, blocking shots, defending at a high level.
Henry in for George Mason, Jared Phillips. All baseline, he stepped on the line. It's another turnover for George Mason. For Tony Skinn, you knew this was going to be a challenge coming into tonight's game. Knew it would be a battle of toughness. What have you seen from this Patriot group? Right now, it's down 26, but again, still very competitive start to the season.
Well, they haven't backed down, right? You know, the score is kind of getting away from them just a little bit, but they're playing just as hard right now as they did when the whistle first blew to start this game. And that's what you want to see. That right there. I'm not gonna give up an easy pass to the big guy, Jonas Aidoo. I'm gonna deflect that, give my team an opportunity to cut into this lead.
That was a good turnover, good defense from George Mason. It leads to the basket. Woody Newton on the drive. Coach Barnes not happy with that entry feed. Josiah Jordan James that time. And he calls a timeout to talk about it.
Yeah, and I think Josiah's gonna hear about that. You know, that's a tough entry pass, right? Because you want to keep it high, but I think you would make it better if you pass it and utilize a better angle. And then what a great finish on the other end by Woody Newton. So, you know, if you're Tennessee, Coach Barnes, one thing he's not going to do is stop coaching. Even though his team is up by 24 points with 7 minutes left, he is not going to stop coaching. And that's what makes this team so special, that they are coachable, they're disciplined, and they listen. They'll make the adjustment and play better on the other side.
A rare mistake tonight from Josiah Jordan James. He's got 6 assists on the night. That ties a career high. Other times he's had 3 assists for all back in his freshman season, 2019-2020. He's done it 3 different times prior that season. He's been doing a little bit of everything, but now on the bench following that turnover. Here's Gainey. Ziegler off to feed. Tossing it in for Awaka, looking for double digits. Ball movement from Tennessee. Ziegler, very good on the 3.
Good defense by the Patriots.
Koje searching for his man. A nice catch and a nice finish from Malik Henry. Almost looks like a wide receiver on that feed.
Again, you talk about the buy-in from your basketball team. They're not quitting. They're still playing.
Vescovi. Gainey left open off the screen from Awaka. No good. Tobe jumps up, grabs it. Strong finish. Tobe Awaka, offensive board. That's what he brings night in and night out.
We talked about it. You know, Andy, he gets his mitts around that basketball. Man, no one's going to strip the ball away from him. Does a great job of keeping the ball high and going right back up with it.
Long 3 is good. Woody Newton knocks it down.
Woody's wanting some more playing time, you know. He's got 5 of their last couple of points there, and good-looking athlete.
8 points for Newton, transfer from Oklahoma State. Playing about 16 minutes a game. Awaka again, so productive in minimum minutes. Right back up, can't connect, but Awaka 11 points, 4 of 6 from the floor. 7 rebounds in just 9 minutes tonight.
Yeah, one of the things I'd like to see Tobe do is spin, right? Utilize the spin move, get back to the baseline. Because, you know, if you're going to self-scout, you'll see that you're more apt to go over that left shoulder. So sometimes, man, defense is going to hang on that left shoulder.
Cody Newton's starting to feel it. He knocks down another triple. He's got 11. He's 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. 14 minutes played. All right, may just earn himself some more playing time. Gainey, good response on the other side.
He's such a pure shooter. He's another volume shooter. You know, sometimes when you need a bucket, you run him off a baseline screen and just let him go to work.
Kojay driving in. Waka called on the foul as Malik Henry went soaring. Tobe Awaka not going to allow an easy layup inside.
Right decision. You know, it's just a business decision, right? Nothing personal. I'm just going to make you earn it from the charity stripe.
About the Tennessee big men tonight, both hitting career-high marks. Jonas Aidoo hit his career high. Tobe Awaka's 11 points. It's now a career high for him. And again, just limited minutes.
Not only that, in limited minutes, but again, you talk about the fact that Tennessee can score from every position. They've got so many scores up and down the lineup. Santiago is 2 from the three-point line and having scored only 6 points. Again, he's an all-SEC performer, and he's not playing at that level. Will that come? Yes. But they're having scoring from all other aspects of the game, from their bigs, from their guards, from everyone else.
Cade Phillips in for the first time tonight for Tennessee. Tips over for Tobe Awaka. 2 for 2 that time for Malik Henry. Phillips, the freshman forward, Jacksonville, Alabama. Vescovi on the drive. Backwards no-look pass for Phillips. That's 2 shots for the freshman.
What a tremendous pass from Santiago Vescovi to Phillips. I think it even surprised Phillips that it was coming to him. You know, that right there shows you that someone like Santi, who's not shooting the ball well, we just talked about that. He only has 6 points right now, but man, you do so many other things well to help this team win.
Cade Phillips received a lot of praise from Coach Barnes just on his toughness, his aggressiveness. He's played in 6 games now. Like 7 minutes a contest, a guy that almost redshirted at the beginning of the year, and this team said, no, we need him.
Yeah, very interesting to hear Coach Barnes talk about that in shoot-around today, that, you know, they thought about redshirting him, but the team in unison stood up and said, no, we're not redshirting him. We need him to play.
Not a good quality minutes in his first season. That's another turnover from George Mason. Ziegler behind the back. Vescovi can't finish off the block from Henry, but there's a foul prior, so Santi will head to the line on the other side. Tennessee, 23. Steve, I know this has to make you smile. The big men going to work on the interior. Tobe Awaka, Jonas Aidoo, career highs, putting in work on the offensive end. All night long, Tennessee on a current 7-0 run, points in the paint piling up for Tennessee. 36 points in the paint. George Mason's 20.
Man, this is absolutely fantastic, right? This does my heart good. You know, I'm over here just salivating at the fact that these bigs have their own. We need to give a shout out to the producer, right? Give a shout out to Allison, the producer, because she threw this package together knowing that I'd be giddy, absolutely giddy, over the fact that Jonas Aidoo, Tobe Awaka, 28 points, 15 rebounds. Man, they have played very, very well. And if they can continue to play at this level, Tennessee could very well see themselves in a long dance, Andy, in March. Not a short dance, but a long dance.
Steve Hamer, that was you back in the day, correct?
Well, numbers were a little bit smaller back in the day. A little bit smaller.
Dominating in the paint for the Volunteers. Steve Hamer here. That was Allison Paris, who you gave the shout out to, our producer, with everything together for us. Carter Mills, our director. Got a great crew tonight.
Tremendous crew. Absolutely tremendous crew.
Vescovi knocks in free throw. Tennessee on their way again. They're searching to get back in the win column. In 3 straight tough ones against now current top 10 teams. We got another challenge coming up on Saturday. Fighting Illini, Illinois, coming to Knoxville. Austin Ball knocks in the 3.
Great screen-to-screener action to get Austin Ball wide open look there, and he knocked it down.
Gainer from the corner. Cade Phillips up, it's a rebound, up strong, 2 shots.
That's what you love about Cade Phillips. He's boxed out. He doesn't quit by staying on someone's back. He doesn't quit. He had that stick-to-itiveness, if you will, got the offensive rebound and tried to go back up with it instead of passing it out. Kudos to that young man.
I have to feel like the mask adds a bit of paint presence. Knocks in the free throw.
Thank goodness that I never had to play in a mask, because, you know, it might have been better for viewers looking at this mug that I've got if I put on a mask, but man, I just wouldn't be able to breathe, and I don't know. Very fortunate, very blessed not to have to wear a mask in my career.
Feels like it gives you that little extra edge, but you're right, it can't be comfortable. Cade Phillips has rocked it here this freshman season. Might have to keep it on if he continues to play with the toughness he has. Patriots looking to get together some offense. Maddox for Okogie. Yes, another triple for George Mason. They've been successful from beyond the arc. That's number 11 as a team.
Yeah, they've shot the ball well. They've shot the ball exceedingly well. They've run good offense, and, you know, good offense beats good defense sometimes.
48% night from three-point, George Mason. Done a really good job of that throughout the season, averaging about 9 threes per contest. Much the same tonight. Gainey no good. That's going to be an offensive foul on the rebound. J.P. Estrella.
Don't mind that foul, though, right? I don't mind that, because J.P. Estrella is trying to get his team another possession. Now, you know, he'll learn, he'll mature that you can't completely shove someone in the back with 2 hands. Subtly nudge them out of the way and try to wedge yourself in there to get that rebound.
Ball catch and shoot. Mason successful, can't find a 12-3. Estrella on the defense. Keeps Henry away from the 2. Gainey on the other end. Henry, huge block, rejects Gainey.
Yeah, denied at the rim. Great block.
Ball inside. Patriots trying to put together a nice little run. They've made 6 of their last 8. And one opportunity for Austin Ball.
Tremendous defense on one end, right? Gainey probably should have passed that one off. A little bounce pass there, got rejected. And then you go to the other end. And one opportunity. They're not quitting, right? This is what makes your team come together. They could have just mailed it in. They got down by 24, 25, could have mailed it in. But no, man, these guys have too much pride.
Ball can't connect, the and one chance. Cameron Carr in for Tennessee. DeLeon in. We got 4 freshmen on the court for Rick Barnes' squad. Estrella inside, goes up tall.
That's that spin move, right? We talked about that with Toby Nwaka. If you just spin move, go back over that right shoulder, man. You got more of a chance to put that in sometimes.
Drive in, Cameron Carr with the swat.
Really love Cameron Carr, man. Young kid, always plays with a smile on his face. Great athlete.
Leon almost loses it. In important minutes here for the freshman. Great feed from DeLeon. Estrella connects his 2nd bucket back-to-back possessions.
You're going to really, if you're a Tennessee fan, you're going to really love Freddie DeLeon once he's completely healthy, once he learns the position, once he learns to play that position the way that Coach Barnes wants him to play. Going to be a special point guard for Tennessee.
There's DeLeon with the drive. Again, back from the injury in this game. Can't finish on the layup. As we now hit the final 60 seconds. Tennessee looks like they're going to get back in that win column as Henry finishes inside. George Mason did not quit on this one. The Patriots, a team that are going to be fighting throughout the A-10 all season long. Henry, foul on Estrella, almost had a wide open dunk.
Yeah, Estrella was so wide open. I think he was shocked that he was that wide open. You know, and that's one of the things you're going to see JP do, man. JP is going to give you that because he runs the floor very, very well. Looks to post up, looks to show his teammates his numbers to get that ball. Man, he's going to be a special player as well. Out of Maine, had a conversation with his parents out in Honolulu with Tennessee basketball. You know, the best athlete in his family may very well be his mom. You know, she was Miss Basketball in the state of Maine. So, you know, he's got a lot of growing up to do.
Big shoes to fill. Some good minutes for him here in the back half of this game. Up to 5 points, can make it 6 at the line here with his final effort. 4 minutes played for Estrella. Stay at 5. We'll check out the offensive board from Meshack, keeping the possession alive. De Leon floating it up. And a bit wild on the feed. Turnovers on both ends.
A little helter-skelter to finish this game, but if you know one thing about these two head coaches, man, they want to finish it the right way.
Tennessee has a big one again this upcoming Saturday. Illinois come to town. Only loss is Marquette on the season. They got a big one tonight with Florida Atlantic and Madison Square Garden. Estrella. The jam, cherry on top for Tennessee.
Great dish from Cameron Carr. Could have settled for that 3, could have settled for the mid-range, but looked to get his teammate involved.
Nice possession there for George Mason. 2 for Woody Newton. It'll be a nice break for the Patriots. That exam period's coming up for these athletes. We'll get back to action on the 16th against Loyola, Maryland. In conference play, already on the horizon.
Were you a good exam taker, Andy?
I wouldn't say I was excellent, were you?
I tried to learn through osmosis, you know, tried to put the book under the pillow, man. Just sleep, you know,
that works.
A lot of times people say just sleep on things. I took it literally.
Yep.
Just sleep on the book and see if good things happen.
5 seconds left. Tennessee's going to get win number 5. George Mason battled Rick Barnes and his group. We're able to show that toughness on both ends of the floor tonight.
Yeah, you know, got away with a 21-point victory against a very well-coached, tough-nosed George Mason Patriot squad that's going to do a lot of good things in the A-10. But, you know, Tennessee scoring 87 points, man. They played exceedingly well on both ends of the floor. Got back on their winning ways with a tough challenge. The Illini coming to town Saturday.
Illinois on Saturday. Rick Barnes and his crew will turn around and prep for that one, but they'll enjoy the win tonight again. Tennessee victorious over George Mason. We're saying so long here tonight for Sarah Detweiler, Steve Hamer. I'm Andy Brock. Saying so long here from Knoxville. Once again, final score, Tennessee 87, George Mason 66.